Hey everybody, welcome back to the Choking Hazard podcast. It's been a minute, but we are back for another great episode. Today we're bringing back Max Hanson for another great show. Before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you want to see more great coaches, great athletes, and a lot more different content, make sure you subscribe and like our YouTube channel. Today's episode has been sponsored by Spirit Leaf Waterdown, located at 64 Hamilton Street North in Waterdown, Ontario. If you're looking for Canada's top cannabis brand, look no further than Alex and his crew. They're going to be able to help you out with all your THC and CBD products. Just make sure you like them and us on social media, and you're going to save money every single time you shop there. Thanks, everybody. Hope you enjoy the show, and we'll see you soon on the mat. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Choking Hazard podcast. It has been a minute for everybody. I know it's been a month and a bit since we've kind of run a show. We've been obviously all over the place. Everybody's been either grappling, trying to get back to their life, trying to figure stuff out. The government, all sorts of things have been all over the place. So we are
the government's trying to shut us down, man.
Coming after us.
Have you seen it? Have you seen the price of gas? It's too fucking high. We can't even run a podcast anymore. It's insane.
Budgets, constraints, everything has been happening, but we are finally back and we are finally up and running with a brand new lineup. And we are starting off our show with Max Hanson back on the show with us today. And we have a great show planned for us. Max, how you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic, guys. Thanks for having me once again. Super grateful to be on the show.
No, it's awesome having you back. Like ever since we left you last time, you have been tearing up the storm, up on the scene for sure. Obviously, you were doing ADCC trials. We want to talk about, obviously, you had a great opportunity to be in Texas lately. So why don't you kind of tell us what you've been up to? Because this has been big news for you.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of things I've been doing lately. So, of course, the ADCC trials, and then also the Who's Next reality show, right? So I think that's going to be huge for jiu-jitsu. And quite honestly, when I watched the first two episodes that they released, I was impressed with the production. I think it's going to be really good for growing the sport. So being a part of that was crazy. They just called me. It was crazy because what happened was Alejandro Wagner from Pedigo Submission Fighting. He's one of my teammates. And, God bless him, man, because essentially what happened, he was supposed to be in the house and he got injured and he basically put my name in. He didn't really have to do that, but he did. So thank you to that guy. Honestly, I owe him huge for it. He's a great guy. So I got a spot on the show and they flew me out 1 week after, what was it? East Coast trials. Yeah, East Coast trials. So it was just like after I feel like I had a pretty good performance at East Coast trials to go right into that. I was like, man, we're just staying on it. It's fucking crazy. So yeah.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, I had an opportunity to watch the show. It was a great production. It was great to kind of see what they've been coming down the pipeline with it. I've only had 2 episodes so far. So obviously kind of walking into that type of atmosphere, what are you kind of what's your head thinking when you first get in there and you see all these different grapplers from all over the US and then obviously the Flow guys setting up this huge event?
I mean, it was exciting. The biggest thing I was worried about, I was quite anxious about man, I hope I don't look stupid on the show, right? Because it is a reality show, so you never know how things are going to turn out once it is post-production, right? So it was nice seeing all these cool competitors and stuff, but I don't know, it's pretty normal for me to be around other grapplers and stuff now, so that felt normal, but it was cool being able to be up close and personal with the Flow grappling production and seeing how everything works with that and getting to see their headquarters and everything. It was really interesting, and I don't know, I think the sport's in good hands with FloGrappling, honestly. I think they're doing everything in their power to actually grow the sport, especially with ADCC coming up. I think with them at the helm, or just seeing all these guys continuously growing the sport, it's awesome.
There's a lot of parallels I've seen just from The Ultimate Fighter and the next who's next basically is that kind of the vibe that I think they were going for.
Yeah, that's when I honestly, when I was first asked to do it, I was like, I can't really say no to this because when you look at The Ultimate Fighter with the first season, so many people from the first season are legends. So you look at the later seasons and what have you, right? They're not as notorious as the people from that first season just because they're so impactful for the sport and kind of provide an outlet for people who wouldn't normally watch MMA get into the actual sport. So I think this is the same thing. It's people who normally wouldn't watch jiu-jitsu can get into the sport, because I know they have like a bunch of cool activities planned. So man, you guys are gonna see it's like there's a bunch of cool shit that they do. Honestly, really, really cool.
Awesome. So like, it's how, like, obviously your match didn't necessarily go the way you wanted it to for that first round. So like, how did you feel during the match? Did you like the setup as far as like the rules went? Obviously it was a no time limit, no subs. Sorry, all submission only. Sorry.
No time limit, no subs. Jesus, that's gonna be a long ass. That's gonna be a long ass match. It would still be going right now.
Like, how did you like the format? Like, how do you feel your match went? What would you kind of do different moving forward?
Honestly, the match was like 6 months ago. At this point, I feel like I'm a totally different grappler. I feel like I was still kind of getting used to training in like a professional way, and it was just kind of coming into my own.
Mm-hmm.
And then honestly, Kyle Chambers is super tough. He's a big guy. You know, he's got a lot of weight on me. He's also a leg walker. So
he's a big dude.
You know, like, yeah, he's a big dude. He's a big dude. So it is what it is. I'm not really sad about losing to him. I bet I'm going to have a match with him in the future, right? Eventually, somewhere down the line. So I'd like to see how we fare against each other then. But I'm not really. If I was going to do anything different, I feel like, man, I would do a lot of things different, honestly. I feel like my pace was too high at the beginning. Like I was too all over the place. Like I wasn't like slowly building up to a peak. It was kind of like whoop, 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 like all over the place. So when it's no time limit, that can be against your, right? Because you kind of want to build to a peak, especially if there's no time limit. You don't want to be going in, jumping in head first in deep waters, right? You kind of want to fuck it. You know, let's feel this out a bit. So I feel like that was a mistake, was me jumping into the fire right away.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Like, what's kind of your strategy for like, let's say like a submission only event, no time limit, versus like an ADCC where it's, you know, first half is sub only, no points, and then there's points. Like, how does your strategy change? Like, how do you approach, you know, like this is a learning experience for you, right? But like, how do you approach that?
You got to approach it totally differently, because it's a different rule set. So like, for example, if I was fighting at that Midwest finishers bracket that I did, right? Like it's a sub only, so you can take risks, right? It doesn't matter if you get swept, doesn't matter if you're on the bottom or the top. I think if it's like a sub only, a no time limit's a different story. Honestly, that was my only experience with a no time limit event. There's not many no time limit events that are run just because the practicality of it. Like you've seen with Damian Anderson, Andrew Tackett, when they fought no time limit, FloGrappling, literally an hour into the match was like first score wins, because they're like, all right, fuck this is taking too long. Sorry, no swearing.
But yeah, it's along here a bit.
Yeah, no, they're just like, all right, first to pass wins, because fuck this shit. But so it's just like it's totally different if you have the no time. But for sub only, I think you should be like taking risks and attacking submissions the entire time. Like a guard pass is good. A sweep is good, but sweeps are almost nothing. Judges don't really see it, especially if it's a really scrambly match. You know what I'm saying? Like if you guys are going back and forth, a judge isn't going to be like, oh, you know, at least in my mind, if I'm judging sub only, right? They're not going to really be looking into that. They're going to be looking into who actually had the submission attempts, right? So, but ADCC rules, you should be much more reserved. Hold back your game, and honestly, you should be trying to score points at the end, like the last 1 or 2 minutes. It's kind of like IBJJF style. Like, for example, I believe IBJJF released some data thing about when points are most scored during a match, and I think it's in like the last minute, the majority of points are scored, and I think that's a very smart thing to do with the point system, because you need to kind of break someone down and basically wear on them before you take the risk to try to score. Where in sub only, I mean, to take the risk, it doesn't matter. If you end up on bottom, okay, you're attacking submissions from the bottom, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying?
So obviously there was the one match. Now, obviously this is what the show shows, but it actually in reality, was there a match that was 3 hours?
Yeah, dude, that shit was fucking epic. Yo, shout out to Adam Bradley and Tristan Overy, because they fucking scrapped for straight up 3 hours.
So that was like a 3 hour grappling match. Of like,
yeah, dude, that's epic. Honestly, it was one of the most. I think that's going to be the most legendary moment of the show, because the fact that two guys are scrapping, It's like, that's a fucking long time. And there was one point where Adam got slammed on the side of the concrete and fucked his fucking hand up. Like, I'm sure you saw in the episode. I'm not sure if he fucked his hand up bad. Because I seen him after the event at the hotel. Dude, Buddy was like, he had like
the cut.
The cut. Like, he had like all this shit all over his face. He's fucked up, hands swollen as fuck. I'm like, damn, what happened to this guy? But I mean, Buddy won, man. It was props to Adam, because honestly, he's a tough motherfucker to do that. Because Tristan Overegg is like, he's on the same team as us, Pedigo, and I know how tough that kid is. So to fight him 3 hours, it's like, that's like hell in a cell type of shit, man.
I mean, like, people can barely sit through a movie for 3 hours. And here we got two guys fighting for 3 hours.
Yeah, dude, I heard some people were getting annoyed with how long it was taking. I'm not going to name any names, but some people were just like, because you're there all day filming, like it basically was 1 day for all the first matches, so you had to finish every match, by the end of the day. So imagine how long those guys were there, just kind of watching, waiting to fight themselves, right? So we kind of suck at waiting 3 hours before your first match.
I guess it's just one of those things. If it's a no time limit sub only, like, this is things that can happen. I know, like, we've had other guests on who've done these events, and it's like, yeah, we're doing sometimes 30, 40-minute matches, 45 minutes, an hour. Like, you don't know. You just keep going until someone taps.
There's a couple 40-minute matches, exactly. Yeah, it's just like, it's not the only reason that I think they can do it is because they didn't have a live audience. You know what I'm saying? They can just record it. So screw it. You might as well do as long as you can, because it's just the fighters in there. So let them scrap. I think it's the purest form of jiu-jitsu, right? So.
Yeah. It reminds me of the do you remember the BJJ Kumite that Lloyd Irvin hosted like years ago?
Oh, that's old school. Yeah,
that's old school.
Yeah.
But like, it gives me kind of that throwback to that, where you just invited a bunch of people. It's like, all right, we're gonna do.
Yeah, who was in that? Keenan, and who else was in there? There's a bunch of dudes.
So Keenan was in there. AJ this is some names that just off the top of my head. AJ Agazarm was there. Gary Tonin was there. Sean Roberts was there. Daryl O'Connell from Ireland was there as well. I know there's some others. Like, that's just a few off the top of my head. Victor Oliveira, I think it was. You trained.
Vitor?
Vitor. Yeah, he was there, I think, as well.
Vitor was there, eh? Damn.
Yeah, there was a lot of like high level names there that. Yeah. Where there was a lot of brown belts at the time, where it's just like there was a lot of up and comers, where it's just like, oh, we have like, it was Keenan, of course, was like the big name, but they were coming up, and then you're like, you know what, let's host a sub only. Everybody, like, Keenan was kind of the name to beat at brown belt at the time.
Yeah.
So they were like, you know what, let's host a sub only. We'll invite a bunch of guys, and we'll throw down.
You know what? It's funny that you mentioned that, because you see like all the big names that are in that were in that event, and nowadays they're even bigger names, and they all have their own gyms and establishments and all that shit. I think the same thing is going to turn out with the people in the show, because there's a lot of good people on that show. There was a lot of tough people in that show.
Yeah, man, you're one of them. So I want to ask you, without spoiling anything, of course, what can people expect the rest of the season of Who's Next? Like, without saying anything you can't.
So there's going to be a couple cool activities for sure. Like, how the Ultimate Fighter would do, like, hopefully it's not, they won't get mad at me for saying this, but the Ultimate Fighter would do like coaches challenge and shit.
Yeah.
So there's like some stuff like that. They would do like a bunch of cool stuff with that. There are going to be a couple really good matches, and then also there's going to be a little bit of drama. I don't want to diverge into anything else that hasn't been released yet, because I do have to.
Yeah, for sure.
You do have to stay tight-lipped. We totally.
Yeah, a little bit. At least on a podcast, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You don't need Flo knocking on your door going, "Hey, Max, here's a cease and desist."
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I found one of the things that was pretty funny is that they have obviously the budget's a lot smaller than, let's say, the Ultimate Fighter, and so they had that house, and there's only 4 bedrooms, and you all have to share rooms, right? And they have this one big bed, and then these tiny small beds in all the other rooms. So basically, somebody was getting shafted with this big bed, and then somebody was getting screwed with that small bed.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, despite their, I don't know what the budget limitations were, but they did a good job, man, with the production. I wasn't expecting it to look that good, but it looked pretty good to me, honestly.
Oh yeah, no, it's a house. You just need something to sleep, right? I just found it funny. That's it.
No, exactly.
Yeah. I wanna shift gears a little bit because the last time we talked, there was a pandemic and all this going on, and like I think you were up in Canada, you were still training and just finding ways to train still on the low key. But like, how did you end up like going to the States? Like, how did that develop? How did you end up at Daisy Fresh?
So basically, I reached out to Dante Leon, and he kind of offered a spot to train and like a place to stay because I was like, this was right after Pan Am's, I believe. Yeah, and it was like it became apparent to me that Canada was kind of just gonna be, sorry Canada, but they're just gonna be fucking dumb about it. The whole pandemic and everything, and being able to train and compete, all this shit, right? So I was just like, I don't think it's feasible to stay in Canada if I want to advance my career. So I just moved in with the guys down at Adamus, Toledo Jiu-Jitsu, welcomed me with open arms. It was a great fit, man. Now I got my visa there. Like they sponsored me for the visa. So fucking honestly, like they kind of like set me up. They set me up real good, man. So I owe them big time. Like they're like family at this point. So they kind of, it was Dante and Kelly Highmore, the owner of Adamus Jiu-Jitsu, that got me in. Now I'm a coach there. We all train every fucking morning, grinding every day. So I would just like to say that like people are gonna see some more guys at Adamus Jiu-Jitsu. Like there's a lot of tough guys there. Like Brad Schneider, super fucking tough. His match, did you guys know the Twisted Church event?
No, I haven't heard of it.
It was like this $5,000 cash prize that Elder Cruz ended up winning it against Johnny Bodani. But like this Brad Schneider guy, like he's got the best crucifix in the world. Like seriously, the best crucifix in the world. I'll tell you that right now. BJJfanatics.com, Brad Schneider, look it up, Crucifier. Best crucifix. I'm being serious. Best crucifix you've ever seen. And then Nilo Bergener, like a bunch of tough guys, man. There's gonna be a bunch of tough guys that add in this. Just everybody.
Mm-hmm.
They're fucking awesome.
No, amazing. So like, did you kind of see like whether like the different types of intensity obviously is ramped up, obviously, because now it's like, hey, it's go time, like, or like, what are you kind of feeling within the last, like, obviously 6 months or almost a year since we spoke, like, especially your own training, let it go.
Oh yeah, especially now. I feel like an urge to train more now than I ever did before, because like I won that cash bracket, so I was like, oh fuck, I can make a little money here. I don't know, money's a good motivator. So now I'm just kind of like, I feel like now that I've won that, the last thing I want to do is kind of like start being lazy and being satisfied with it. I feel like now's the time to put the foot on the gas pedal and fucking, win Emerald City, beat J-Rod, win this the second belt for Midwest finishers, and then go into the other matches that I've been accepted to. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of events coming up for me, honestly. So I just want to fucking stay focused and zone in on it, because I know within the next 6 months, like Bo and all these guys they're gonna start knowing my name for sure.
Amazing. So how did obviously going back a little bit, obviously because the trials is over, how did the trials go? Like, how did it go? How many matches did you end up having during the actual trials? How did you feel the competition was that you competed?
East Coast or West Coast?
You did both, right?
Yeah, I did both. So I ended up placing top 16 in both, which is pretty good. I mean, it wasn't what I wanted, especially for the West Coast trials. I wanted to get further than that. In the East Coast trials, I had 3 matches the first day, and I won all by submission. I had a big crazy match with Gino Morelli. We scrapped for a long time. I ended up tapping him in overtime, though. He's fucking tough as shit. The West Coast trials was kind of weird for me, honestly. Like, I was kind of like, my first opponent didn't show up, so I was like, all right, I gotta buy
for trials.
Yeah, that's what
trials. Who shows the ADCC trials? What the fuck?
Yeah, so I was like, all right, I guess the first match is done. And then the second match, buddy, no shows. So I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, so that's what's going on. They saw you on Who's Next. They're ducking you.
Yeah, bro, I don't know what it was, man, because I'm not complaining because there was like 2 free buys. Yeah. And then so the last match of the day, I fought I don't know the guy I fought, but I tapped him in like in like 40 seconds with like I tried to go for an anaconda and turn the anaconda into a triangle from the mount. So tapped him out. Then the second day I ended up fighting Steven Ramos, who's pretty tough. I ended up beating him 2-0. He was just like hard to sweep, hard to move, tough wrestler, brown belt. And then my next match into I believe it was the quarterfinal, top 16. Something like that.
Top eight quarterfinals. So
okay, so it wasn't quite the quarterfinal. But yeah, I fought a friend of mine, Chris Wojcik, who actually comes and trains with us all the time, and he ended up tapping me with like this straight armbar from like a 50-50 position. So it was a weird submission, but yeah, we train with him all the time. I know how tough that guy is, so I'm not going to be sad about losing to him. Props to him. Shout out to Chris Wojcik. He just beat Gabriel Almeida, won $5,000. So
nice.
He's a good guy.
It's big because like there's a lot of these tournaments coming up like Emerald City, and there's a lot of different like submission underground where there's like there's a lot more money involved. So it's giving crazy. A lot of opportunity. Like you didn't see this like not even like 5 years ago. You didn't see this.
Dude, literally, it's actually kind of it's pretty hype. Like there's a Twisted Church in October that I'm going to be competing, and then it's a $10,000 cash prize. And it's like, bro, that shit's crazy that they're just like there's like as time goes on, I keep seeing more and more cash prize tournaments. So it's just awesome for the athletes can actually make some money here.
Well, I think that's the biggest thing that people wanted too, because like they wanted the opportunity to win cash or you had to pay athletes, right? So it was like one or the other. So I think when you look at it like on a financial standpoint, I guess an event organizer would be like, okay, I'm going to do a cash prize. I'm going to get the competitors. I'm going to create a big show, right? Whereas like
you're doing a good
fight show, then you have to pay the athletes instead.
Yeah, I think it's good, man, because like just like fuck. Sometimes you're down. I mean, most of the time you're down on money when you compete. I'm sure you guys know. Fucking, you got to pay for hotel, travel, this and that. But now, like, a lot of different organizations are really kind of offering to pay for like hotel and travel at the very least, and then on top of that, to even pay a show fee. So you can just tell it's getting more professional as time goes on. Now that COVID, I don't know, in Canada, COVID seems like it's a thing. I was here today. There's people wearing masks on the streets. Shit, it's like, goddamn, COVID's still a thing here. But like in America, it's not so much a thing anymore. So it feels like jiu-jitsu is kind of.
This is America. We do what we want.
Yeah, this is America. I thought it was America, but
I thought that was America.
Exactly.
This is America. What do you mean?
Yeah, exactly, dude. Like, no, seriously, it is totally different culture than Canada. It's awesome because jiu-jitsu, bro. I'm sure you guys know it's like the last thing you should have been doing during the pandemic.
Oh, God, yeah.
It's like the worst possible thing that you could have been doing. So it was just
never did any of that during the pandemic.
No, man. Yeah, no one did.
People start sweating in your mouth, and you're like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah, seriously, dude.
You probably catch something worse like herpes. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, seriously, mad herpes is a thing, bro. Fucking mad herpes is a fucking thing.
It's still a thing. COVID's a thing.
I don't think mad herpes are going to find a cure.
Mad herpes is bad, bro. Fucking.
Yeah, you never want to catch mad herpes. I'm sure, like, again, like every club has had it at one point, but I think it's all about just like, again, you just got to clean the mat.
My club hasn't. Where the fuck have you trained, Aaron?
I'm just saying, every club has had it. That's what I'm saying. Sure, every club. It's just your excuse for having herpes like 16,000 times.
Damn, getting called out, son.
Aaron's disgusting. He's herpes. There's constant array of herpes everywhere.
Agreed. So obviously, like the world of grappling has kind of like broken lately. It's obviously with Who's Number One, the show, obviously which you were part of, and then obviously Gordon Ryan just announced that he's got like 2 main matches coming up. You kind of mentioned that there's a bunch of stuff coming down the pipeline for you, especially like, well, it's just kind of like bringing it back even to like ADC or even just like the new Gordon Ryan news. Like, where do you think his mindset is going? He's okay, I'm going to have a match in July, a match in August against 2 high competitors too, and then obviously do the ADCC come September.
Well, I think he's just trying to get so for example, look at JT Torres. He just competed for the first time in what, like 2 years, 3 years. And I think it's just because now that we're getting closer and closer to September, you need these warm-up matches. Tyson Fury, for example, will say you have to be match ready. You can't just take a long layoff and then fight the very best in the world. Kind of like what Gordon's been doing. He's had these exhibition matches against, guys, who are good, but they're not real professional grapplers or much smaller than him. I think his match against Felipe, right, is going to be like that's like his first match in 3 or 4 years against someone who's the same size as him. So I think his mindset, he's trying to build up to ADCC because, even though he is that good, you can't lose ADCC rules, especially if it goes past like if it goes into points and you can't pull guard anymore, and he gets like a really tough wrestler, right? Like, if you're not fucking match ready, you can definitely lose. Doesn't matter if you're Gordon Ryan, it could be anyone, right? Anyone can lose.
I think you mentioned it. Like those warm up matches are important because especially he's had some layoffs as well. So like, no matter how good you are, like you can. The ring rust is a thing, or if you haven't been competing consistently at a high level in a while, like you need to get in there, put your feet in the fire.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Speaking of ADCC, like I want to talk about that a little bit with you. Just that event in September, probably the biggest thing in jiu-jitsu history, I think at this point, but like, do you have any predictions, even just as a fan, somebody looking at it possibly on the outside? Like, is there anybody that maybe is kind of flying under the radar in your opinion? Like what should we look out for?
I don't know if anyone's flying under I don't know. There's a lot of big names, man, so it's hard to predict. I mean, obviously, I think Dante is going to win the 77 kilogram division. I think he has the perfect style for that, for the ADCC style points.
Mm-hmm.
Like his match against Mika Galvao, if that was ADCC scored, fucking lost like 6 or 8-0. Straight up. He was one of the best at 77. So I think he has one of the best styles. I think a lot of people are sleeping on that. But we'll see come September. In the 66 division, honestly, I think, I want to say Cole Abate has a really good shot, but I don't want to fucking, I'm not just trying to jump on the hype train here, but I think he actually does have a really good shot at winning that. So we'll see. Or even Kenny, like it's hard to say, like, as these guys we haven't seen too much of, like Kenny Maciel, we'll see. But I don't know if they're gonna hang with Cole. I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot of unknowns going into this. Even the 88.
There's so many factors. Like bracketing could be like there's so many things that can happen. Injuries, brackets, like who knows what can happen. Styles make fights, right?
Fucking J-Rod could end up fighting Craig Jones.
Yeah, that very well could happen. That could be a quarterfinal fight potentially.
Oh yeah, easy, dude, easy. Because this is ADCC, man. Anything can happen. You have to fight anybody. So there's just there's a lot. I think the 88 division is going to be the most wide open for anybody to take. I don't think there's any clear favorite in that division. 100%.
I feel like me and Aaron went over who was currently invited and who's in each division, and it's like there's no like really clear favorites in any division. Like I'm going through it, I'm like, I can't pick like, all right, this guy's clearly like head and shoulders above everybody else.
Yeah, there's a lot of new names too.
Yeah,
Who's that guy from South Africa again who won European trials from New Wave? You guys know what I'm talking about? Minus 99.
He fights 99? Oh, I thought you were talking about Giancarlo.
No. He's 88. Giancarlo. You have Giancarlo from 88, but then like the minus 99, you have it's that South African kid. You guys know what I'm talking about? Man, he's really good. He's like he could be easily win that division. Like there's all these new faces. Big Dan plus 99, jiu-jitsu giant, right?
Yeah,
like there's
he's a stud. Right? Absolutely, he's a stud as well. And and you know what the crazy thing is? He could fight Gordon Ryan at plus 99.
Yeah,
I feel like thing as well.
Gordon might big brother him. He probably will big brother him a bit. Like honestly, that'd be I don't know. Actually, maybe he's a big fucking kid. He was huge. Yeah. Remember, we all showed up for who's next, and like, I feel like no one wanted to fight that guy first because he's just so fucking big.
Yeah, like he's a monster. Like
he's a big dude.
It's insane. He's only 19 or 22. It's It's massive. And I would just like to say that arm wrestle challenge is kind of BS because, of course, fucking jiu-jitsu giant is gonna fucking win. Like, no one else any chance.
Yeah,
to
that
win.
was
What the hell?
what is this?
They should have like at least make it a coin toss or something. Not just get this guy to stomp everybody. But I guess it's entertaining.
Like, I want to know who thought of that one, because they're like, for sure they're just gonna get this monster, just line up everybody and just like nobody was beating him in an arm wrestle. Like,
Yeah,
Maybe they have like a handicap match and have like 2 or 3 people against him, but like, geez.
Yeah, sure. Might still win, man.
You might still win.
Yeah. Oh well. I mean, how do you think like the Gordon doing the trial? Doing the bracket plus the super fight? How do you think that might go?
Well, I think he's gonna be just fine. The guy fights pretty efficiently, so he's not gonna be really. I don't see him getting like too fatigued and unable to fight the super fight. But it's all gonna be a thing on the day, right? Which Gordon are we gonna see? Gordon hasn't really shown himself to be a weak competitor in any situation, so we only really see him improve. So
it's so unpredictable too, because you don't know what can happen when ADCC rolls around. There's so many things that can happen. You never know. Well, like, we're just gonna have to stay tuned for September.
Yeah, I think the super fight. I don't think. Honestly, like, not hating on Gaval, but I don't think he has a chance against Gordon in that super fight. He's kind of like, especially after seeing his match in 1FC against that one MMA fighter. I was like, I don't know. He kind of he's looking a bit smaller. Gordon's going to be like twice his size and kind of has the technical advantage too and the age advantage. So it's going to be a tough hill to climb for Andre.
That's what I was kind of watching with that fight too, is like Andre didn't look overly impressive. Like, he held his own, he did well, but at the same time, like, that's not a performance you're expecting out of somebody who's like, this is the world's best grappler, who's going to be also competing against somebody who also wants to be the world's best grappler. Like, you want to see somebody like that go in, dominate, get a finish. But
exactly, that should be the expectation.
Yeah,
but
maybe we just have extremely high expectations. Like, I don't know, but I think
no, it really should be the expectation if you're fighting an MMA fighter. He was a decent grappler, but you know.
I think what you said, Max, is the idea of being match ready, right? Like, when was the last time we're really seeing him go through those, okay, I'm going to do a match or exhibition match or whatever, the same way like Gordon's kind of ramping himself up, right? I think if you get a guy like Gordon who's ramping himself up, and let's just say he's successful in his next 2 matches and then obviously does the bracket and successful there, like, what type of high is he going to be on, like, for just mentally? You know what I mean? The guy's already mentally fortitude, man who he is, and then you think about you're going to add all this other accolades into that, going into that, that's a huge advantage.
Yeah, seriously, it really is. It really is. I mean, a lot of this game is mental too, so I'm sure Galbao was thinking about it, his performance at 1FC and how things might turn out at ADCC. I'm sure he'll come prepared, but like, you can act like these things don't affect you, but it's all part of the game, man.
Yeah, that is true.
All in here, man. Straight up.
So kind of that being said, so like, what's next on the hit list for you? Like, what obviously can you share? What's the next big thing for you? Any names on that list you want to call out? What's going on?
Oh, well, I'm not really going to call anyone now. I know I'm fighting J-Rod at the end of the week. So.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So that's going to be a huge match, especially after he just won trials.
Mm-hmm.
My teammate actually had a really close match with him at trials. Brad Schneider, the crucifix guy, he'd taken us back. He'd locked in rear naked and fucking J-Rod. I don't know. I think J-Rod's just going to be used to getting out of bad positions and not kind of giving up or kind of mentally surrendering ever because of the room he's in, right? You're fighting, you have to train with Craig Jones, fucking Damian Anderson, Ethan Krelliston, Nicky Ryan, yada, 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 all these fucking guys who are kicking your ass every day. So I expect him to have really good escapes. I expect him to be athletic and strong on top. I don't expect his bottom game to be very good, but it obviously very well could be. So I'm not just gonna fucking act like it ain't.
Not just gonna make assumptions, but
I'm making assumptions. Not making assumptions, but that's the match I've been focused on because it's gonna be a huge opportunity for myself. Straight up. I don't think he has a style to beat me in a sub only rule set. I think a sub-only rule set. His lack of versatility is going to be shown.
Okay. Nice. And you've also had the experience to kind of go through this 6 months ago.
Yeah, exactly. I've had a lot of sub-only experience now. Like I feel quite comfortable, especially EBI. Before I felt like my fucking EBI escapes and shit were garbage, but it's totally night and day now.
Awesome. All right. So you got that coming up. Is that who's that with? That who's number one or
Finishers?
Finishers?
Yeah, finishers.
Finishers series.
Yeah.
All right. And then a couple of things that you can't announce yet, but they're coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, so I'll have the Emerald City 2500, like I was saying.
Yep.
Big names in that, like Kieran Kachuk is in it, fellow Canadian.
Yep.
Andrew Tackett's going to be in it. I think a couple other good guys. Then the Midwest finishers, that'll be the week after at 155. So got to cut a little weight, but we'll be fine. Another 2500. And then I will be, I do have a match that we'll be announcing soon. It's not official yet. I think the other guys got to sign, but we'll see. I'll announce that very shortly. And then I guess in October, the Twisted Church, man, 10K, baby.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. You got any big sponsors ever since your stint on Who's Next? Is it Legend of Zelda? Like, what do you got?
Man, I wish, bro. Nintendo, hit me up, boys. But I got Perry. Perry Athletics is starting to sponsor me, so that's fucking sick. And Full Muscle Fuel, it's a company out of Canada, a supplements company based in Windsor, Ontario. So check them out. Other than that, no, I'm not really big on the sponsorship. So if anyone,
well, maybe one of our big sponsors, Spirit Leaf Waterdown, Aaron, located at
64 Hamilton Street North in Waterdown, Ontario.
They have all your vitamin C, if you know what I'm saying. Alex and his crew there have been fantastic. Pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, they've been helping everybody out. So if you're back in Canada, if you're in the GTA and you're down in the Waterdown area, you should hit them up, man.
I might actually, bro. I fucking might. I probably will be in the GTA.
And this dog right here that's trying to fucking wrestle me during this entire podcast.
Is it legal in the state that you're in right now, though?
Oh, what is? What's in the water? Fuck, dude.
It's in the water, bud.
It's legal.
This dog needs some vitamin C from Spirit Leaf Waterdown, located at 64 Hamilton Street North, right, Aaron? Because this dog's been trying to wrestle me this entire podcast. Isn't that right? All right, get the fuck out of here.
Well, Max, is there anything else you kind of want to like state or like things you want to announce before we kind of sign it off for today?
Fucking last shout out to Brad and Nilo. You guys are dope. All right, that's about it. Also, Tim Hunk, the Honkster.
That's about it. Awesome. All right, my man. Hey, dude, I appreciate you coming on. Thanks for rescheduling with us. We really do appreciate you having us on the show. We're looking forward, obviously, to you getting more competitions, finding that bag, getting out there. I want Who's Number One to know more about you because obviously they had you on the show. They are going to hear your name a lot more often, which we're really looking forward to. Yeah,
100%, man. It's going to be fucking dope.
You see what happens when you come on the Choking Hazard podcast? You just start blowing the fuck up. That's what happens.
Yeah, man. That's the fucking key.
That's it. That's what it's about.
All right, Max.
Piece of success, huh?
Yeah, buddy. It's been a great show. Looking forward to it next time.
Yeah.